When I first heard the word microtia and atresia, I was like frozen for a moment. Like,
and a mother's courage to keep going.
the sooner we give the device, the sooner they will develop this
Yeah.
speed and start celebrating on what they exactly can do. They can do anything just like a normal child.
Namaskar and welcome to Audio Voices with Sangeeta.
Secret superhero of our story. He was a silent listener
The
and he
silent
was a
hero of
hero
your story. Yes. Yeah,
of our
there is a
story.
lot of
That is true
contribution
because
of the family. Namaskar and welcome to Audio Voices with Sangeeta. Today's episode is all about love, faith, and a mother's courage to keep going. Our guest today is Sneha Dungari, a mother, a warrior who did not give up against all odds. Sneha was blessed with a beautiful baby girl, but only to be told that she had a severe hearing disability. And this mom refused to accept limitations for her little princess and fought hard for her future. This is a story of breakthroughs, healing, and hope. Let's meet this warrior who fought for her little girl fearlessly in the face of adversity. Welcome to Warrior Voices with Sangeeta, Sneha.
Hi, ma'am. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Sneha. And to begin with, please tell us a little about yourself.
Hello, everyone. I am from Bangalore. Actually, I am, I've come here to share a story about my daughter, Manya Shri, who was detected with hearing loss. This was detected when she was born. So this is where my story begins. I'm married and I have a son who is 10 years old, and Manya was my second child.
You were married about 10, 12 years ago and you had a son. And then you must have been so happy to learn you were blessed with a daughter. So, but when did the doctors tell
Yes.
you that she had this condition? Was it immediately or did they tell you after some time?
Uh, Actually, Manya was born in November 2020, so you can know that it was a COVID phase, and it was so much difficulty to go through with that pregnancy and going to an appointment with the doctors. I still can't forget the day when the doctor said that your daughter has been detected with a condition where her both the ears were malformed. It was just when she was born we came to know one is completely folded and one more was kind of small ears. We got her hearing test done, and from there she did not pass the hearing test. It was one time, two time, and we had so many tests for her, but she did not pass the hearing test. Then the doctor said we'll go on for a CT scan where we can know what exactly how is the development of the ear. In the CT scan, we detected that she has a condition called as microtia and atresia. That words were not, practically, I mean, not scientifically known for us because that
Yeah.
was all new and thing, we have never heard such words, what.
Is there any way to prevent this from happening? Like when, or, knowing that the fetus has developed this condition.
When Manya was born, doctor said, why didn't you detect this during any ultrasound or any, because there's so many technologies nowadays detect any abnormality inside the fetus as well. But according to me, for me, when Manya was born, there was no scan or no specialized scan detected any abnormality like their fetus has this hearing problem or the ears are malformed, because it's very minor and minor to detect inside a scan. We got to know about this situation only when Manya was born. So according to me, there are specialized scan. If you go on with deep, there is a chances like maybe I could say like 15% maybe you can detect this kind of abnormality. But for me, I don't know why the scan did not detect about this abnormality. But I feel it's good, like, even though if you know that your fetus is having a hearing loss or that kind of abnormality, it's very
Abnormality.
difficult for a mother to, go on with the pregnancy as well.
Mm.
So there are some scans, but usually doctors say that it is detected during the pregnancy.
Mm.
But they themselves question me like, why didn't your scan detect about this
Mm.
abnormality? Me,
Well,
in
I
my
mean, there is
case,
no way to prevent this from happening. There is no specific reason why this happens.
no.
Okay.
No, it can that's what it depends upon the mother situation. I mean, what mother condition is. I was on, they say for me during my first pregnancy, I was fine. I had no any medical issue. But during Mania's case, it was like I was on some medicines where they said me that there is blood flow for the blood to the fetus is very less, so you have to be on medication. There will because one scan detected that there is, maybe an abnormality, but that was like doctor says, oh, when you are on medication, so there is no chances of getting any abnormality because there's so much technologies and medicine that you take nowadays. So I did not take that much serious, and my doctor also did not say like, oh, you will have an
Mm.
abnormality baby or something like that. So I was on medical medications like how we usually take during pregnancy.
It's like you said just now that I had not even heard, we didn't even know these terms, microtia and atresia. So, and when they told you what it is, what went through your mind?
Why?
I mean, yeah, it must have been heartbreaking for you, no? You were looking forward to a girl,
Mm.
but yeah, this must have been really heartbreaking. So, what went through your mind that time?
When I, first heard the word microtia and atresia, I was like frozen for a, moment. Like, I just heard the word microtia in the medical terms, like, oh, this is microtia, this is hearing loss. But, my heart was going on with so many questions, like, will she be okay? Like, will she be able to hear my voice, or will I will be able to hear her voice, or will life be okay with her? How will she going to be managing this type of condition throughout her life?
Life, yeah.
But but my mind was, full on that time. I had just delivered it. I was in a firm mind that whatever it is, I have to go on with this, and
Mm.
I have to look after her, or what situation is it, she is mine. So
Mm.
I have to not stop back or step back. I would do anything for her,
To help her.
whatever it is.
Mm.
uh, yeah,
Mm.
and to get a best solution for her,
Mm.
that time I could say I have had became a warrior for her, to come out with this, to find her own voice. I
Mm.
struggled a lot so that she becomes like a the normal child. Main question was like, will she be going to special schooling, like specially
Yeah,
challenged kids
for the
go?
deaf
uh,
children. Schools,
should
there are
I
schools.
use
Mm.
sign languages
Sign
for
language,
her?
yeah.
That was many questions
Going on in your mind.
which I had
Mm.
no answer for. Main
Mm.
thing I could say for this is there will be so many questions and there will be so many answers that can't be answered at one point.
You got a bone conduction device put for her. First of all, we'd like to know what exactly that is. And second, uh, how was it before that device was put? She couldn't hear at all, or she could hear little bit of what you would say, like talk to her when you would talk to her.
Like when it's what I could say is doctor said that her inner ear is completely fine. That means she is hearing. Now, if you just close your both the ears and how much you will be able to hear, that is what she's hearing. So they said, okay, when when usually 1.5 months is like very too tiny, to recognize the sounds and all things. So doctor said us to make sound so that she does not become like sleep for a long time. So we used to make some loud sounds that so that there's so much stimulation going on inside her ear. So then doctor said the best thing we could go is go on with the bone conduction device, where the sound passes through the bone, through the skull, and directly to the inner ear.
Okay.
So she was given a band type device where she had to put the device behind her ear. So I was using on the both the sides, one day on the right side or other day on the left side. It depend on that. So that is how we started the device when she was 1.5 months old.
Okay. Okay. So
During while she was
that helped,
sleeping.
that increased her response, or you felt that she
Yes,
could hear you
yes,
better?
yes. Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. Before she used to not, if I used to play some music or a toy or something towards, she used to not turn over that side. She knew there is some sound, but she did not know exactly what that sound is, what from where the sound is coming. So when
Hmm.
we started with Baha, initially she was very young to recognize voice, but later on, months passed, she recognized the voice and she turned from where the sound were coming. That is how we came to know the difference with the device and without the device.
Hmm. So generally, I was reading about this, and generally it is put at a later age, but you took the decision of putting it at only 1.5 months, no?
Actually, a doctor, we planned to take her device after maybe 6 months. But I thought 6 months, what will she be able to hear? Will she not miss even 6 months of hearing my voice? That is what
Hmm.
was the main question. So at the age of 1.5 months, when she was very small, tiny, and fragile to this world, she had hearing loss. But main question was like, how is the brain development going on? Like if you miss it months, she is going to miss her brain development as well. That is what exactly why we started her hearing aid as soon as she was born, when she was 1.5 months old.
Hmm.
The sooner we give the device, the sooner they will develop their speech.
Yeah,
There is no
yeah,
delay, and there is
correct,
no delay
correct.
in their milestones as well. And I could say they will develop a confident, and here normally just like a normal kid develops their milestones in all the way.
At what age did she first, started speaking or called out "mama" for the first time? How old was she, and how did that feel to you?
Oh, but when she was 1 year, maybe 1 year, 2 months or something, she started blabbering some sound, and she said "mama" for the first time, and that was the sound I was very eagerly waiting for. Or I used to whisper when she was wearing the device. Also, I used to say to her ears like, call me mama. I was like badly waiting to hear that words or say anything, so that I could know, oh, she is hearing to me. Oh, that is why she is developing good speech and she's responding back to me. She did not just say mama. I could say like she herself said like, I'm growing good. I am trying to hear you. That is all things. There's so many things that she learned while she said, not only said me the words, but there's so many things like I used to say her to go and get this. So she could understand that. That means there was a development in her brain, and she could understand what command I am giving. That's all things that a small child could develop.
Mm.
That's
But at
how.
what age are you saying that she would listen to your commands? When she was
1 year, 1 year
okay.
child.
So जैसे ये
When I
उठा
used to
दो.
say, get me this.
हाँ,
वो उठा दो, keep this inside the
हाँ,
cupboard. That is how, oh, that means that she is able to hear me and she is understanding what I'm saying.
mm,
That does not mean that she's not speaking to me. These are the things that, we can come to know that the child is listening to me and she's able to, respond to me what
mm.
exactly. And one more thing, and we did not tell her, from since we started the hearing aid from 1.5 months, so we did not say her like this is your hearing device, remove the hearing device. So that is not what we thought. We named her hearing device as Tweetu. We used to tell her wear your Tweetu, remove your Tweetu. So that is how now till now she says good morning Tweetu when she puts on her hearing aid. She says good morning Tweetu, and when she keeps back she says good
Good
night.
night.
That's how we made it a innovative way so that she does not think, oh, I'm wearing a hearing aid, oh, I'm wearing a that that goes on for all the ages. So she says this is my Tweetu, this is my best friend. So she knows what is the important of the device for her now. She's
Hmm.
thought the device is the part of her body now. So
Hmm.
she says Tweetu. So that is
Hmm.
the innovative way we call
Hmm.
that device.
You got her operated, I think, for an implant, osseous implant, uh, when
Yes,
she was
yes.
around 4 years of age. Yeah. So was
Yeah.
it a difficult decision for as a parent that okay, my child is going to go through an operation? Uh, was there fear in your heart? What made you take that?
Yes.
Before that, in short, we'd like you to tell us what osseous implant surgery is.
Uh, Osseous implant surgery is, a surgery where the internal part is the vibrating device is implanted inside the skull, beneath the skull, where the device is already inside and the magnet is already inside the skull, beneath the skin. So the external part will be only the processor. I mean, which is on the head externally, where the sound passes and how it vibrates inside and goes inside the ear. That is about osseous surgery, because when we got our audiologist consulted after Baha, we wanted to give her the best, because when we see a child, maybe how many days will she be able to wear that band kind of device for, not for a lifelong. That is where we came to know about this osseous implant surgery, where the vibrating device will be inside the skull and only the processor will be worn outside.
Hmm. So,
So
so that
that's what.
processor
And
has to be worn outside, and that implant, the device is
yes,
implanted inside.
implant is
And
already
and this is a
inside her
permanent.
skull.
It's a
So
permanent
as
procedure. It's a. I mean, it.
permanent solution for her life.
Oh.
Yes. When she was 4, we felt that that was, the correct time where we had to take a right decision for her. Like she was wearing Baha and her hearing was good and there was good way of, speech had developed at correct point. But this was a turning point where she had to get explored to, many people, the schooling. That is how it goes on when she was 4. So we thought this was the best decision where we can give the best for hearing, so that she does not misses anything even in the school, because till now she was only with me. I was able to handle, with the Baha, and everything was fine. But the thing was, when she gets explored to the society or the world, how will she be able to cope up with her day-to-day things? So obviously, every parent could never see your child going to a surgery room, and which could take around 8 hours. I just can't forget that day when Manya was taken into the operation theater. It was around 7 o'clock, and she just came out only in the evening, like 5 o'clock. I could see her face. I wanted to give the best for my kid, but as time passed, the surgery was going on for 8 hours. I wished I just want my kid outside now. That is fine. I am done. I want my kid back. I was in that situation. Like I just wanted to see her. Like as a parent, obviously there would I would say there very difficult phase for a parent or a mother to go on with this. We may have fears, we may have anxiety, but if you see from the point of view of future for the child, I could say we did the best decision for our child so that she gets the best for her to shine brightly and go on with
Do well
this
in her life. Yeah.
competitive world.
Yeah.
So
So,
yes.
on the personal front, I mean, looking after all these things, Manya's needs and her operation and all, obviously you needed to give a little more attention. So, how did you balance your home front, giving attention to your family, to your son? Did he, feel the need that my mom is not able to give me as much as attention, or was it smooth going for you?
Where there was quite difficulty for me to manage, and handling him and telling him why she is special, and I had to, teach him like, oh, she is a special child where I had to look after her, and I had to give more attention because there were so many appointments, many scans, and many tests to be done for her. I feel, my son was quite matured at that time, and he himself could know like, oh mama, because he's seen me, going with the tears, that cries. He knows that, oh, there's something going on. So I felt he was quite matured and he handled this situation so good. He could say himself that it is fine. Felt he was the secret superhero of our story. He was a silent listener
The
and he
silent
was a
hero of
hero
your story. Yes. Yeah,
of our
there is a
story.
lot of
That is true
contribution of
because
the family wherever there are challenges. The
yes,
family. I'm sure your
yes,
husband must have
yes,
supported you also a lot. So that is
uh,
always there. Without our family members and their support, it's
yes,
difficult. So, and
yes,
you took to the social media platform to bring awareness regarding hearing disability in children.
yes,
So, what
yes.
inspired you to do that?
Because in early days of my motherhood, I could feel very lost when I heard the word microtia and atresia. There were so many fears, curiosity, and guilt, and many unanswered questions where no parent could understand the child's situation. That is what inspired me. I just wanted other mother not to cry in silent because of this kind of situation. Maybe crying silent when I used to cry very silently and not knowing to show my fear to others. That is what that inspired me. There may be somewhere in this world there may be some mothers who are going through the same
Same
situation,
situation,
who
and who may not
who
know
is
about all these remedies, who may, so
this
it
kind.
must have helped
Yes,
them also. So that's a wonderful thing that you
yes.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I opened through social media and started this awareness not only for likes or for attention. It's just to spread an awareness that not to lose and hope, because even if I put any post, there is a family or a mother who is supported with this video, and I feel there, because of my videos or my posts, there is some early intervention taken for their child as well.
Hmm.
So I feel that is all worth it.
Early
Early
intervention
intervention.
helps, and you want to give that message to all the parents out there who may be
Yes,
going through similar situations, so that the child does not,
yes.
miss out on any milestones.
Miss
Correct?
milestones.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 ma'am.
So, is there anything you wish that the people would understand, or the society in general would understand about hearing impairment in children? And what change do you want to see in future in this direction? What kind of awareness
Yeah.
or inclusion should be there for children who have hearing
Uh,
impairment?
people in the society know that our child who are wearing hearing implants are not less. I could say they may be slow, or maybe they are experiencing the world in a very different manner, I could say. I hope the society moves from from sympathy and to go on for a support, rather than showing sympathy to the parents. They support them in a good way, rather than staring at the device. They could understand exactly what the child is going through. Because I've seen my daughter wearing, and they stare and they blabber, oh, look at the child, she's wearing this hearing aid. Oh, that is a sympathy they develop. Instead, they have to support us, and not label us by saying these kind of things, that can imply that can loosen the confident, even for a parent and even for a child who is wearing the hearing aid. I hope they start measuring the child what they can't do, and and start celebrating on what they exactly can do. They can do anything just like a normal child. So one day
Correct.
I feel that the society sees the hearing aid, the implants, even the theories or the sign languages, or not as a weakness. They see the strength and the hard work given to the child, and as parents what we have faced and what we have gone through to give the best for our child.
That's a wonderful message that you have given. And
Yes.
finally, can you just tell us that, say, from 10 years from now, if there is one message or something that you would want your daughter to always remember, so what would you tell her? What would it be?
10 years after now, I could only say that, like, sweetheart, like, always remember, your differences is your superpowers that has come made you to come so long way. We have walked through this journey of challenges, and this, I could say, like, just be yourself. However you are, just be bold, be yourself. There's no that you have to not fear for or compromise anything, like, because you are wearing a hearing aid or something. I would say, like, just be you, be brave, and keep believing in yourself and dreaming more. Not like, oh, I'm wearing a hearing aid, so I'm not supposed to do this, I'm not supposed to do that. No, you have to become limitless and dream more. That is what I could tell her, because my support for her future and for her contribution was always there. So that is where I want her to be limitless, and enjoy the life
Yes.
and hear more beautifully, and that is how
Do.
I want her to be.
Yes, that's a wonderful message. Thank you for being here with us today and opening your heart to this conversation. Our love and blessings to Mania. God bless her with great and fulfilling life ahead. May she spread her wings and fly
Thank you,
high.
ma'am.
May she be very successful in life.
Thank
To our listeners, today's story shows us the strength of a parent's heart and the incredible progress a child can make with the right support, the right decisions taken at the right time. We hope this episode brings awareness, comfort, and courage to anyone walking through a similar path. If this young mother's story inspired you, do like, share, comment, and subscribe. Goodbye and God bless.